So it's doubles action up next. The Barrett-Larsen combination for Europe against Marshall Kent and Sean Rash, the skipper for Team USA. Cass and I have been joined in the box by Stu Williams. Stu, has your pulse come down to normal after that last big ball where you knew you needed a strike? I mean, how do you deal with a situation like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, my heart rate has come down a little bit, but then they told me I was going to come and commentate with the great Nick Holland, so then I got all nervous again. So, yeah, I mean, when you're in those situations, you've just got to take a couple of deep breaths and just really focus on what you want to do and just make a good shot and, you know, hope the pins cooperate, as Walter Ray would say.
Was that a point you felt that you got as a bonus, bearing in mind that you started out with 2 open frames? You shouldn't have been in that match.
I mean, it felt like a bonus, but I also felt with the way the lanes were that starting off with 2 open frames wasn't that big of a deal because there was going to be misses late on.
There were plenty of misses. The players mic'd up here, as they always are with doubles, so there'll be a lot of voices talking during this doubles, and Europe looking for their biggest lead margin of the Weber Cup, and Don Barrett on this fresh oil gets Europe off to the perfect start.
Yeah, great looking shot, as you said, Nick. Yeah, fresh oil, freshly dressed lane. And Scotch doubles, so Dom's striking here will bring Martin up to first.
Be interesting to see how he recovers mentally as well after losing that important match last time up. He's not lofting the ball anymore, and he too gets off with a strike.
Yeah, I think Marshall and Dom have both gone with the same idea. They've gone to a less aggressive bowling ball, so the lane probably won't change quite as much now, and they can both stay with a little bit more of a direct line.
Yeah, it looked pretty good from where we were sitting.
I don't want to do that.
Shot from Kent.
I need practice once. Stops up. Okay.
Well, they're making light of the situation, but this is a critical phase in the battle for this year's Weber Cup, and it's Europe back in the ascendancy here, and not exactly the perfect pocket hit for Martin Larsen, but he does carry all 10.
I think this is where Martin's going to feel a little bit more comfortable with the lane being a little bit fresher and people not trying to play left of him, because Martin has the lower rev rate of everybody on the competition, so it should make him feel a little bit more comfortable this game.
Oh, he's not happy. Oh, you heard his reaction as he let the ball go. I think he'll happily take 9 there.
Good 9.
Well, he'll take the 9, but Marshall's got to spare it.
What went wrong?
Shimwrecker.
Yeah, Sean's trying to say that the people missing in are taking away the hold. I think he's been a little facetious here because this was a pretty bad shot of his hand.
Yeah, pretty high through the nose. Fortunate to break it up, and Marshall's going to shoot the spare.
Which he does, so the Americans fall behind early here.
Yeah, 21 pins already.
2-hole. You just wanted me to be 2-hole. I see how this. The 2-hole.
Yeah. My error, 19.
Yes. I threw it off 4-hole now. That was a big 9. That was a good 9. Yeah. I thought it was struck right in the pocket.
So one skipper talking, one skipper working, and Don Barrett finding the pocket. He's done a lot of talking to you guys during the course of the last 2 or 3 days, hasn't he, Barrett? I mean, he really has been a leader in every sense.
Yeah, Dom is definitely the guy in the team room who's, you know, keeping us on track, and you know, he's been really studying studying the shots, and also on the specto trying to keep track of people's break points.
Long.
Rash, no problems there. That was a sigh of relief.
And got lucky.
Yeah, keeping it close, just 11 pins in it. There's not too much talk on the American side, although they're both mic'd up. And Dom and Martin are quite quiet as well.
Maybe these players are realizing they don't want to give too much away when they're wearing the mics. Now, here's Martin Larsen. Ooh, he lost that badly.
and Dom to play on the other 5.
Yeah, I think Martin just got a little slow with his feet on that one, and then of course once he missed left, it was off. Right now, if Dom could get 3 of these, this would be a really big. Sorry, 4 of these, it would be a really big thing for the count. A spare here isn't really that crucial. It doesn't change that much.
Well, let's see what Barrett can get. 5 standing. How many can he knock over? Just the 2. He was just trying to get the thinnest of snicks on that lead pin to just send it over towards the other 2.
Yeah, that's what he's saying to Martin. He was really trying to make sure he got the front pin, because now if the Americans were to go 9 spare here, they'd still be in the lead. That's the thing with the scoring system. You've got to be very careful on the opens to make sure you try and get 9.
Making good shots.
So a great chance here for the Americans with Marshall Kent. He, rather strangely, has left 3 standing.
But they gave us the count straight back, so we won't worry too much about that.
You're allowed to be biased and partisan. We expect that. And as you say,
This isn't the easiest spare in the world either. Marshall just got that one way right off his hand.
yeah, you often see the concealed pin left standing, but no, he's got that perfect. Making sure they've all just cut into that cluster.
Come on, that is a good spare.
It was indeed.
You made yours.
The banter has started.
Started, it's never stopped.
I had no idea how to shoot it.
Europe with a 1-pin lead.
I didn't know to throw straight or hook at it.
You wouldn't catch Stu Williams engaging in badinage and banter of that nature, would you?
No, when me and Sean tend to talk to each other, it's not usually of a jovial nature.
And it's not usually with a microphone on either. That'll take us off the air. Now that's more like it from Lucky Larsen.
Much better
Just
adjustment
a
by
little bit
Martin.
better. Oh, nice. The double is good. I picked up really good. Yeah.
That's important, this, because this is such a close match. It could go either way. And all jocularity aside, and the players are having fun out there. Europe on the threshold of their biggest lead in this year's Weber Cup.
Yes, 14. If it goes 14-11, it's the finishing post is within sight.
And that just opens the door a tiny little bit wider for the Europeans.
This is the one slight curse for Marshall with having such a high rev rate. Keeping it straight is much harder for him because, you know, his rev rate makes the ball want to turn, whereas Martin and Dominic, the lower rev rate, they can keep it more stable.
Rash, incidentally, continuing to be used very sparingly by himself. He is the captain. He can pick himself. He's saying long way to go, and he's absolutely right. This one's wide open.
I think Sean tends to talk more when he's nervous.
What do you make of his back injury? Something of nothing?
To be honest, I don't really know. I mean, we had no problem putting him back in the match the other night, so it's not like he needs a walker to get around.
Or that you really cared either way.
Barrett looking to just keep Europe in pole position here, and that 10 didn't want to know.
Yeah, nice looking shot from wide outside of the right-hand side of the lane. That's a single pin for Martin to spare.
I would guess, without knowing the full details on the Spectre, I would guess that this ball's gone a little bit too far down the lane. We've more been looking at where the ball starts to hook rather than right to left. So it's just something interesting to keep up with.
So this is a one-pin game again. As Sean Rash quite rightly said, long way to go.
Try that again.
One thing that'll be very interesting is if Marshall continues to miss, when Sean comes back in, it's very difficult in this format. I know better than most people. I mess Martin up when we bowl doubles. If you miss 3 or 4 times in a row, it's a long time since you last threw a strike shot. So knowing how the lanes change is very difficult.
A totally valid point, yes. Looking at the 1-3 pocket from a whole new light after a few frames.
Oh, he's lucky to avoid the big split there. That's not a convincing shot from Marshall.
That was really good.
Well, But it's 3 frames in a row that the Team USA haven't struck.
Pretty much flush on the headpin there as well. He's having a tough time out there.
Yeah, I think this was a strange decision by them to put Marshall in for 3 games in a row after he played 4 games in a row yesterday. If you note, Dom never puts us in for more than 2 games in a row. Once it starts to go wrong, it's very difficult to turn the tide around.
I mean, Kent pulled himself out of it spectacularly in his 4th game of 4 yesterday, but as you say, he'd have been in low spirits coming into this one after losing to you in a match he will feel he should have won. And here he is, as you say, straight back into action. And the reason Kent is getting such a workout is because Rash is playing himself so sparingly.
We actually expected to see more of EJ Tackett today.
Yeah, not seen anything of him so far. He does pop up later on. He will play in the last 2 matches, doubles and singles.
How much in the move? One back to the right. The first one.
But it's still way too close to call here in frame 7.
All right, do what you do, baby. I got you.
A lot of concern in the American camp listening to the chitter chatter going on.
That's more like it.
We'll take that one. That was a little fortunate. That ball didn't pick up like Dom wanted to, but fortunately for us, it hit light and it sent the head pin to do most of the work.
In and firm.
Like Dom's saying, he got it a little left and a little hard, so it was good.
Bit of a hit and thin, make them spin.
Okay.
But it's good enough.
Good shots.
Right now, it's how many, not how.
Well, here's a man who needs all 10 desperately. He's lucky to get away with that one again as well. He's just not in the pocket at all here.
And the other thing is, of course, he's keeping Captain Sean Rash sitting back in his chair and just shooting spares.
Well, he's avoiding splits, but his game is not on.
We've all been in this situation that Marshall's in right now, and it's really difficult. Sean a little bit all over the place on the spare. I think I've seen somebody miss that one this week already.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Yeah.
Strike, would ya? Do your job.
See, this is Sean. He's trying to play to the crowd, but he's really just trying to disrupt Martin. Like, I would have probably let him have it right there. Your turn's over. Get off the lane.
Hey, good shot.
Well, it's confidence building for Marshall, isn't it, when the captain says good shot and it's only a 9.
Right out of frames.
I'm not sure what that was. It's not confidence building at all, and it wasn't a good shot, so why is he saying that? I mean, Kent needs a lift right now. That was almost taking the mickey. That's strange. Well, it didn't bother Martin Larsen one little bit being put off his stroke. That's a big strike from the Swede.
Yeah, that was huge. That was great. Great shot for Martin. Let it roll. Tells his ball, good job. I guess Martin's ball's doing its job and Marshall's isn't.
Not very nice, but it's strike. You know.
They go down.
I'm cheating pass every now and then.
A lot of verbal and mind games going on out there at the moment.
Oh boy, does Marshall Kent need a strike. Thank goodness, thank goodness. You don't like to see a player suffering, certainly not a player of this quality, and you know when someone's in a slump, they're not going to be there for long. He's out of his.
A strike here for Dom and this game's over, so you can guess what result I'm hoping for sitting in the commentary.
Good chance. I think.
Yeah, has that come too
I
late?
think you're gonna get a chance. Down 2 hits.
I'm taking it.
Huh?
If I get a chance, I'm taking it.
That's all we can ask
The
for.
pressure is now on. A 23-pin advantage here in frame 9, and as Stu Williams has set it up, if this is a strike,
Strike here locks it up.
they can pretty much close the door. So this is a big ball.
Come on, my friend.
That was a great shot there from my captain. Put the dagger in, finished the game off.
Still in, but my hand the right way.
Well, you heard it here first from Stu Williams. A strike wins it for Team Europe, and there it is. Team captains won another point.
Now this is getting serious for the European, or rather for the Americans. The Europeans on easy street now because it's a race to 19. Europe are going to be now on 14 and leading by 3. They've got no safety net anymore, the Americans. They've got to really go on a tear up here.
That was a really good shot by Sean, having had 6 shots off. He made a really good guess there, and that should give him some confidence going into the singles, because I believe he's on against Martin in the next match.
Yes, and that is a point that the Americans will expect to get, because if there's one guy that's been a bit up and down this weekend for the Europeans, it's this man right here. And remember, Rash in a captain's pick match did edge Larsen by just 10 pins. But it's the Europeans working with a little bit of a cushion now. Larsen makes absolutely sure of the deal.
Go on, Barrett.
And a 266, a winning score
Too bad.
for Barrett Larsen.
Martin is very much a confidence player, and I feel if his arm gets a little loose doing something he likes, I feel like he could put in a really high score this next game. So that's obviously what we're hoping for.
Bad ball.
Marshall can see the funny side of it all, but here's where they won't be smiling. This is the biggest deficit they've faced. The Americans, who led by 3 twice, now they trail by 3.
Let me show how it's done.
And a bit of fun for the crowd here to finish things up. Well, that'll do it. Europe in a good position here, Stu. Are you starting to plan the party yet, or is it too early for that?
No, we're just starting to impose our will upon them. The last couple of sessions, we've really started to take some pretty big points. So hopefully that'll continue with Martin in this next match.
Stu, thanks for being with us. Go down and join your teammates right now. Europe in the driving seat here in this race to 19. They lead 14-11. And the heat is on. The Americans must find a response. Their skipper, Sean Rash, up next against Martin Larsen.